So, I'm just looking at Dr. Kofi Kennedy-Apreku. I can govern Ghana with not more than 40 ministers. And yesterday I also heard Cabinet Japan saying that, 19 cabinet ministers with their deputies. That takes us to 38. And then 16 regional ministers takes us to, 54, not more than 54 ministers under his administration. Now, it looks like, for these persons who want to be NPP flag bearer, they're all saying the things that a lot of Ghanaians have been saying over the period. And that makes you ask the simple question, so how come the NPP is not implementing all the things, the beautiful things that they've been talking about? I mean, listen to them. And they're telling you about how, they want to cut down the size of government, how they want to check expenditure. The very things that we've been talking about, the very things that have, pushed this country into going under an IMF program. Because, hate it or love it, part of our problem is that we borrowed over the period too much and engaged in a lot of expenditure that we cannot account for today. So why is it that all of a sudden these persons are telling us that, these are the problems with our system? Why are they not telling their party, or somebody isn't listening to them? I mean, I would want to know. I want to have them to have that conversation. Whether it's the case that they're making these suggestions and their party is just not listening to them.
Mm-hmm. So those people include even Dr. Bawumia, who is at the very top of government. And there were suggestions in the media not long ago that his ideas, and if you listen to Bawumia, you know what he says, he knows his stuff. So why is it there and the country is still struggling the way it is? And you are giving the impression that he has the ideas but nobody's listening to it. Why?
I mean, it's a big issue, and it comes back to the point. I think the answer can be found in another thing that Dr. Kennedy-Apreku said himself. He believes he wanted opportunity to serve in government. Just like all the other people. So that's how come we end up with 110. Because other people too also believe that they are competent enough and they also want to be in government as well. And so the president is more or less under pressure to give all of these people opportunities. And the point is that these things that these individuals are saying, the same thing was said by Dr. Bawumia and the president during the campaign in the times past. They said they will run a lean government. They complained about that. They said they are going to be effective, efficient. Eventually, when they took over power, they told us that, it's not about the size, but it's more about the results that they bring in. We saw how that has ended up eventually. And now we have some of these individuals who had the opportunity to be at the seat of the table, now making a point again that, look, when I come in, I want to do this, I want to do that. Then when you ask them directly whether those ideas they put forward, did they even put them forward in the first place, and why they were not accepted, then they can't give you a forthright answer. I think anyone who is seeking to lead the government or the country, especially from the stock of the governing party, must, as a matter of urgency, in terms of the initial remarks, explain to Ghanaians why the ideas they're expressing were not taken on board by the current government. I think that is an important line that must be drawn even before the conversation starts.
If they shared it at all.
And you see, you made a very important point. The fact that today we're being told, the vice president says, I have my own vision. Okay. Now you've been part of this government, and so it's important we know. Did he share that vision with the government? What was the response of the president when he shared this vision with him? Because the president told us that he was bringing him on board because of his, economic prowess. The fact that he's the economic wizard, Wizkid. He said, the fact that he was responsible. In fact, according to the president, he said Dr. Bawumia was responsible for a lot of the achievements under J. Kufuor.
As deputy governor.
Mm-hmm. So he was bringing him to come and do that. Now, the question is, what did he tell the president? And the president didn't listen. It's important that sometimes we find out the thing so that we can have that discussion. What was it? Was it something that would have helped the country that the president turned down? And it's also important that, you see, for all these persons, like you stated, the NPP criticized the NDC's appointment and said they were going to run a lean government. Came 110 ministers. When we complained, Akufo-Addo said we should wait. And that after 4 years, we'll be able to know what he has done. Before the end of 4 years, he had increased the number. Because then we had, 6 new regions where their ministers took it to over 120. And then after 4 years, what did he do? He reduces it because then he realizes that the number of ministers were just not helping. Okay, this is not a case of saying that, we had achieved everything, because there was still Zongo and inner cities development. There was still social development initiatives. There were still the development authorities. There was still some need for monetary
there are still ministers of states.
Yes.
At ministries where there are substantive ministers.
Yes, you don't need those things.
With deputy ministers also.
You don't need them.
But we don't have to take this what's the expression? Hook, line,
And a sinker.
sinker. We don't have to take it that these people who are suggesting all these things really want to do it when they become. So I've heard suggestions that they want to scrap agric ministry. I think that's very deadly. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You need the agric ministry. Maybe you want to merge agric and fisheries. We don't need agric and fisheries to be separate. At best, we can have a deputy minister who will be responsible for agriculture at the agric ministry. But we need agric. Food is the basis of everything that we're doing in the country. All the cries going up and down, it's about food. Get food on the table first, even before shelter. So we don't have to say that, yeah, all of these suggestions are good. So it's possible that they would have proposed this to the government, and the government says, well, I can't take away agriculture from my administration because the people need it. Even with agri, we are still struggling with food supply. Recently, our food suppliers have been picketing the buffer stock company. Why do you think that's happening?
Yeah.
Because food is becoming a big issue, and we need the agric ministry. End of the day, it was the agric minister who stepped in for this matter to be resolved in some way. And so, yes, we can interrogate some of the proposals they are bringing, but we need to know how these proposals get to government and what government will make of those proposals, whether they are indeed good, whether they will help the economy to be strong.